Our Doodle app here in MIT App Inventor. So once you search up MIT App Inventor, you'll land on this page. You're going to click on the orange Create Apps button, and then after that, it's going to prompt you to sign in with Google. So you'll sign in using your Google credentials for the school. Put your password in. And first thing you're going to do, I think it'll actually take you to a new project. You're going to go give your project a name. It's important that you give your projects a name that makes sense, not one that's just random. So give it a name that kind of goes with the assignment or the project, whatever it is. Don't just name it, some keyboard smash or your name or the date or something like that, because you're not going to remember going forward, say in a month or two, what this project even was. You might look back at this in years, and it would be really handy to have an actual name. So this is a Doodle app, so I'm going to call it Doodle, and click enter. You can't have any spaces, leading numbers, or parentheses in the name. So if you get an error with that, take those things and fix them. Okay, so we're going to make an app where we can draw on the screen with our finger. We can take pictures, draw on the pictures, and we can change colors and stuff like that. So you're going to get to see a whole bunch of different things that MIT App Inventor has to offer. So we're going to start out with some pseudocode. The pseudocode is basically language that sounds like code. It's kind of the simplest way that we can describe what the program's going to do. And by creating pseudocode, it lets us kind of get a clear thought about what it is that we want to do. So I think the first thing we're going to do is give it the ability to take a picture. So we're going to be able to take a picture ultimately and then draw on it, right? Our pseudocode is we're going to have a button, and when we press that button, we're going to take a picture. After we take the picture, we're going to set the background of the screen to be the picture we just took. That's our pseudocode. So press a button, take a picture, set the picture to be the background. So you see that one of the first things we're going to need is a button. So we're over here in the user interface. User interface is on the far left-hand side. Notice that the screen's divided up into 4 sections. We have the palette on the left. Towards the middle, taking up most of the screen, we have the viewer. This is a picture of what the screen's going to look like. We have the components over here on the right. This is everything that's on the screen. And then whatever's highlighted, there's the properties of it on the right. Incidentally, don't change primary color default or primary color dark from default. It probably won't run if you do that. Or accent color. Don't change accent color either. You can change other things though, like the background color, make them different things. Okay, anyway, back to the pseudocode. So here we are. We're going to press a button and then take a picture. So we're going to grab a button, put it on the screen, and notice that the button says text for button 1. That's not really what we wanted to say. It's a camera button. So we want it to say like camera button, right? So there's 2 things that we can change about it. We can change the way it appears in the code, which is as button 1. So if I change this to say camera button, that's the way it's going to appear in the code, but it doesn't change it on the screen. On the screen, we're going to look down here where it says text and make that say whatever we want, like take a pic or whatever you want. You can say anything you want. Right? And we can change other aspects about this too. One thing I like to do is change the background color to be none. And by doing that, it kind of disappears. We can change other things too though. We can change the font. One thing that annoyingly we can't change is its location on the screen. And we can change that, but right now there's no obvious way. I'll show you how to do that later. So we'll leave that way for now. Okay, so now we can take a picture. In order for it to actually be able to take a picture, we have to give it the ability to activate a camera. So we need to scroll down on the user interface over here to media, and we're going to find camera, and we're going to drag it onto the screen and let it go. And notice that camera goes below the screen. It's not on the screen, and that's because the camera has no on-screen present. Okay, so now after we take our picture, we want to be able to put the picture on the screen, and that's going to require us to have something that we can interact with. And so we're going to go to drawing and animation, and we're going to get a canvas. Canvas and drawing and animation, put that on the screen. Now we're going to take a look at the properties for this, because right now it's really small, and we want to make it larger. So back over here on properties, I'm going to make the background color none as well, so it kind of disappears. And I'm going to set the height to be fill parent and press OK, and the width to be fill parent and press OK. By setting the height and the width to be fill parent, that means it's going to be able to stretch and shrink depending on whatever screen it happens to find itself on. So if you're on a phone with a small screen, it'll be smaller, and if it's on a tablet, it could be larger. And that's really nice. Alright, great. So we have the components that we need now to begin coding our app to take a picture. So we're going to switch over to the only other screen on MIT App Inventor, and that's the block screen. So we're in the green bar all the way to the right hand side where it says blocks, and I'm going to click. Okay, so this is where we're going to put all our code. This white space is like a blank canvas that we can drag code into. It doesn't matter where we put our code as long as it's in this area over here. Back to our pseudocode. We're going to press the button, and after we do, we're going to take a picture. So let's find camera button. I'm going to click on it, left click, and we're going to look at the top thing. When camera button, click do. So this is an event handler. This is going to handle things that people do on the screen. Notice, if I go back real fast, that there's other things we can do. We can have long clicks and touch up and down. Click is like the most normal thing for you to use. Long clicks are cool sometimes, but generally speaking, this is the thing you're going to use almost all the time. Okay, so when we press the button, now we want to take a picture. So we're going to go to camera 1, and we're going to call take picture. So this is an event, or an action, I suppose. Great, so now it's going to take a picture. So now, after the picture, we want to put that picture on the screen. So we're going to go back to camera 1, and we're going to find when camera 1 dot after picture. And incidentally, notice that when I hover over it, it gives you a little blurb that tells you what that actual thing does. So if I hold my cursor over anything, it'll explain what it does, at least a little bit. Alright, great. So we have that. And so back to our pseudocode, we want to set the canvas background image to be the picture we just took. So we're going to go to canvas 1, and we're going to scroll down, way down, and we're looking for any of the dark color set canvas 1 something to. What we're really looking for is the one that is canvas 1 image, background image 2. But there's a trick that we can do this, and I'm going to show you because I think that was hard to find. So I'm going to grab the wrong one on purpose. So I'm going to grab set canvas 1 font size 2. This isn't what we want, but it's going to show me. I click that in there. As long as it starts with set and it says canvas 1, I'm going to change this font size to say background image. To me, this is faster. I grab any one, change it to be the one I want. Alright, so you see how there's an X here? That's indicating that this isn't finished. This is like a sentence, and we're not telling it what we're going to set it to. So what we want to set it to is the picture we just took, which happens to be a variable that's located right here. So if I just point my mouse here and don't click, it'll come up with either get image or set image. So I'm going to get the image, click on it, drag it right here. Awesome. So now when I press the camera button, it's going to take a picture, set the background image to be that picture. So we can try this out. I can go on a tablet after I've installed the MIT App Inventor app, which if you're in my class, the app is already installed. We can click on that on the tablet, and then we can go to Connect and choose AI Companion, and that'll bring up a QR code. On the tablet, you're going to press the blue button to take a picture of the QR code. Hold the tablet in front of it, and it'll automatically do everything else for you. It'll install it temporarily on the tablet or on your phone, whatever you're using. If you have a problem with the connection, which happens often, there's a couple of things you need to do. First off, you can close the app on the tablet or phone, just swipe it and close it, go back to Connect, choose Reset Connection, and then just begin the process all over again. Go back to AI Companion, start it over again. Alright, so if you've done that, go ahead and try it. Pause the video, give that a look. And assuming you pause the video, now we're going to make it so that we can draw on the picture. So our pseudocode for this is going to be when we drag our finger across the screen, we want to make a line that follows the path of our finger. Okay, so that's involving the canvas. So we're going to click on Canvas 1, and I have to scroll up here, you probably do too, and we're going to get the top thing, when Canvas 1 dragged. So drag this onto the screen somewhere. We're going to go back to Canvas 1, and we're going to give ourselves the ability to draw a line. So Canvas 1, and we're looking for one of these purple ones. Call Canvas 1 dot draw line. Drag that onto the screen. So we have all these variables, and x1 is going to be prev(x), y1 is going to be prev(y), x2 is going to be current x, and y2 is going to be current y. So if I go here, I can point, get x, and just do that for each one in order. And current y. So now when we drag our finger across the screen, it should draw. Alright, so give that a try too. You're going to go to Connect, AI Companion, click on your app, press the blue button, hold it up, and try loading it. Does it work? Can you take a picture? Can you draw on the screen? Alright, so now let's give ourselves the ability to erase the picture. So we're going to go back to the designer, so in the green bar on the right hand side. And what I want to do is we could make this erase when we press a button. We could have a button that erases it. That's easy. But it would be fun to make it so that we can erase it kind of like an Etch-a-Sketch. So let's go ahead and scroll down to Sensors on the left hand side. And then we're going to choose the accelerometer sensor. Drag that onto the screen. Again, just like the camera, it goes below the screen. So now we're going to go back to blocks, and we're going to find the accelerometer sensor that we had before. Click on it, and we're looking for the second one, when accelerometer dot shaking do. So we can put this anywhere we want on the screen. And our pseudocode for this is going to be pretty simple. When the tablet is shaking, we want to clear the screen. So that's a canvas command, so we're going to go back to Canvas 1, and we're going to get the top purple one, call canvas1.clear. So now when we shake the tablet, it'll clear the canvas. Let's add some other features too. Let's go back to the designer, and let's give ourselves the ability to change the line with a slider. So a slider is going to be found in the user interface drawer over here in the palette. So I'll click on user interface, and I'm going to find slider, and I'm going to drag that onto the screen. For me, I'm going to put it below, take a picture. It doesn't really matter though. Here it is. And I want to change some aspects of it. For one thing, I don't like the color. I'm going to change the color to be light gray on one side, gray on the other side. Another thing I'm going to change is the width. The width needs to be fill parent. If you don't select fill parent, or at least make it wider, it won't actually slide right. It'll be funny on your tablet. So I'm going to say OK for that. And so now on the tablet, I can't do it on here, but on the tablet I can slide it back and forth. And we're going to use that to change the line width. So let's go back to blocks, and now I'm going to click on slider 1, and I'm going to choose when slider 1 dot position changed. And so our pseudocodes for this is going to be when I slide my finger along the slider 1 and I change the position, I want to set the line width to be whatever the thumb position is, which is numbers. I can show you that in the properties. I'll show you that in a second. So we're going to go to Canvas 1 for that, because this is another canvas command. It's the line width, and I'm going to scroll all the way down to set. So set Canvas 1 line width to, and I'm going to point my mouse over this where it says thumb position and get thumb position. Great. You're welcome to try this at any time. Pause the video and give it all a shot. See how this works out. But we're going to go back to the design view and do one final thing. Let's give ourselves the ability to change the color of the drawings that we make on here. I want to put a whole bunch of buttons on the screen for all different colors, and you'll notice that if I do that, they all stack one on top of the other, which is kind of ugly, and you know, it just takes away a lot from the screen. I want to be able to stack them side by side, but I can't. If I try to put it side by side, they won't go. So there's a way to cause that to go side by side. It's called a layout. So if I choose layout, there's 5 different ones. I have horizontal, horizontal scroll, table, vertical arrangement and vertical scroll arrangement. So scroll arrangements will allow you to kind of slide it over. It kind of lets it be wider than the screen. Table arrangements are really neat. They allow you to make a whole group of different things in a table. Like if you wanted to make buttons for a calculator or something. Horizontal arrangement's probably the one I use the most though. That lets you stack things side by side. So I'm going to put one on the screen. It comes up as this kind of big box. And just like before, I'm going to change its background color to be none. And we're going to actually use two of them. I'm going to put this stuff in one, and then I'll put the buttons in another one. So I'm going to put the picture button here. Notice the blue bar. That's where it's going to go. So if I put it below it, the blue bar shows that it's going to go below it. But if the blue bar is within it, that's where it's going to go. People really struggle to get stuff into this horizontal arrangement. It's confusing sometimes until you get the hang of it. So let's put the slider in there next to it too. So right now the blue bar is to the left. That means it's going to be to the left of the take a pick button. I want it to be to the right, so I'm going to put it there. I know this is weird. There's no blue bar. It's going to go to the right. There it is. Let's make this horizontal arrangement be fill parent for the width only. We'll let the height be automatic. Oh, incidentally, I never said how we can change the slider, but we can change the properties of the slider to have different max and min values, also its start position. So if I want to make the line be extra small, I can make this be a 5 or a 0. A 0 probably wouldn't be the best one because you can actually kind of turn the line off at that point. And we can make the max value larger too. Okay, so let's get another horizontal arrangement. We'll put it right below the first one. And then we'll put our buttons in there. So again, the blue line disappeared. It's going to be within there. If I have it towards the right hand side, it's going to go on the right. And great. So they actually stacked off the screen and I can't see them anymore, but that's alright. We can fix that. So we're going to take these buttons and make them not be so ugly. We're going to change both the name in the code and the name over here on the right. So in the name of the code, I'm going to make this be my red button. It can be anything you want. But I'm going to call mine red button. Alright, and while I change that, I'm going to change this to be just a big old capital R. I'm going to make the text color be red and the background color to be none. Oh, and I'll also change the horizontal arrangement background color to be none so it looks nice. There we go. See, that's way better, right? Alright, and we'll do this for all the buttons. We can have as many buttons as we want. I'll just make some basic colors. So just go ahead and change these. And by the way, you can have more colors than are listed right here. You can have quite a lot of different colors. I'll show you that later. Okay, so here's one of the reasons why I like making the background of everything just clear. See, the green and yellow buttons are kind of hard to see now because the background color that I chose kind of interferes with it. So I can really pretty easily change this background color to be a better color that works better for the app. If I click on screen 1, I can find background color and now make it be white or whatever color seems right. Alright, great. So we can have as many buttons as we want. I have 4. And so we're going to go back to the blocks view and we're going to code that to happen. I'm going to show you a quick way to make multiple things happen really fast too. I think this is really neat. So I'm going to click on red button, scroll all the way up to the top, choose when red button click do. And now I'm going to go back to the canvas because our pseudocode for this is going to be when we press the button we want to change the canvas paint color to whatever the color is. So canvas 1. And I'm looking for dark green, set canvas 1 paint color 2. Put that on there. And now for the end of that, I'm going to go over here to colors. And I'm going to choose a color that's appropriate. So in this case it's red. And now here's the way we can do this really quickly. If I point to the brown part here and I right click or 2-finger click on a Chromebook, I can get a list of different things I can do. One thing I can do is duplicate. Great, so now I have a second copy of that same one, but notice I have an X here. And it shows 2 X's down here as warnings. And that's because we have 2 event handlers for the same event. And we can't have that. That's not okay. So we have to do something. We have to either delete one by going to the delete, or we have to change things. So if I go to the name right here, I can change it to, say, blue. And now the X's go away. And I can change the color by just clicking on a color and picking whatever color I want. And I just do that for all the buttons. 2-finger click, duplicate, change its name, change the color. Now, I said that you can make any color you want, and I'll show you how to do that really quickly here too. So you can Google RGB values. Just go to the top of your screen, make a new tab, search up RGB colors, and you'll find a color picker. And if you go to colors, you can have a make a color function here, and you can put your RGB values right in this. So just put the 3 different values in there, and it should make the appropriate color. And you can do that for any color, anything that you want on the whole app. So you can make custom colors for everything. Alright, great. So that's our whole app. Now we have an app that takes a picture, it clears the screen when we shake it, we can change the size of the pen on the screen, and we can change the colors to be as many colors as we want. A couple other quick things. If I right click or 2-finger click on a Chromebook anywhere in the white space, I have a whole bunch of other stuff I can do, like clean up the blocks, put them in a nice list. It's acting funny. Put them in a nice list. I can collapse the blocks, which just makes them all kind of take up less space. I can expand them again to make them big again, and stuff like that. It automatically saves, so I don't have to go to projects and choose save. It'll save for me. If I'm worried about it, I can go to projects and save it, but I don't have to. And that's it. Now we have a fully functioning app, and that didn't take long at all.